Welcome to the February 19th, 2025 meeting of the Lane Transit District Board of Directors. My name is Pete Knox. I'm filling in as chair for today. We'll start off with the roll call, see who's here. Gino Grimaldi.
Here.
Michelle Weber.
Here.
Lawrence Green. Heather Murphy. Susan Cox.
Here.
She's online.
Hey, Susan, you're muted.
Oh, I thought I unmuted.
Okay, we hear you.
I'm here.
We can't hear anything.
You can't hear me?
I can hear Susan.
Yeah.
Kelly Sutherland.
Here.
Yeah, they can hear each other.
And then I myself am here. All right. Do we have any public comment?
No, we
Online?
don't. No.
None? Okay, well, we have someone in person. Oh, Bill Bradley.
Okay, hopefully everyone can hear me. Fantastic. Okay. Good evening, LTD board members, CEO Otten, members of the public, if there are any here or watching. My name is Bill Bradley. I serve as the ATU 757 Executive Board Officer, representing many workers across Lane Transit District. But tonight I'm going to focus my comments on our newest members, the facilities maintenance workers. Today, I want to recognize the collaborative and productive negotiations that led to this first union contract, one that reflects the professionalism, dedication, and skill of these essential workers, as demonstrated in the last couple of weeks as we went through the weather. Through open and respectful dialogue at the bargaining table, we secured meaningful improvements that will benefit our members and the agency as a whole. The 3-year agreement increases wages, ensures that our highly skilled maintenance professionals are fairly compensated for the critical work they do to keep LTD running safely and efficiently. We also refined the on-call and standby pay formula, an issue that directly impacts our workers' personal lives. This contract also acknowledges the sacrifices they make for LTD when they are called outside their regular hours, ensuring fair compensation and a better balance between work and personal commitments. Most importantly, this agreement is a recognition of the expertise and hard work that these workers bring to their job every day, provides stability and job security, reinforces LTD's values and the contributions that these workers provide to LTD. The contract proves that when labor and management come together in good faith, we can reach agreements that strengthen the workforce and benefit the entire transit system. I want to thank everybody that was involved in the process for their commitment to fairness and collaboration. I firmly believe that we're going to have a lot of opportunities and a lot of challenges coming up. But every challenge is an opportunity, and every opportunity will have its challenges. And I look forward to working through those together with CEO Otten and his team of chiefs and directors. I know that this relationship that we've established over these past couple of years has been fruitful, and we've done big things, and I look forward to continue to talk to you about those big things to come. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bill. Next up, we're going to go into board reports, and I'm going to start off by announcing that Kelly Sutherland and I are going to be switching spots on the. She's going to be taking my spot on Strategic Planning Committee, and I'm going to be taking her spot on the Metropolitan Planning Council. So there felt like there needed to be a change, so that's going to be happening, and it's taking effect this month. Do we have any other board reports? All right, hearing none. Hand it off to our CEO, Jameson Otten, to give his report.
Thank you. There we go. Thank you, Commissioner Knox. Tonight, I have the opportunity to introduce one of our exceptional employees here at Lane Transit District. As you all know, the number one asset that any organization has is its people. It's not buses or equipment, it's its people. And we have a lot of special people here, and Kathleen is certainly one of them. Kathleen joined the organization in 2023 as a grant specialist and has since taken on some big projects that most recently resulted in the statewide Transportation Improvement Fund grant process being run through LTD for the first time, I believe. She handled that as well. And you can always find her here or downtown helping someone. No matter where she's at, she's always helping someone. So we're pleased to have her as part of the organization. I was talking to her this morning, and we were looking at some of the ridership, and we'll talk about that in the operations report, but some of the ridership that has grown by, over 50%, and in some cases 20% based on some of the work that she and that group have done. So pleased to introduce you to her, and her immediate supervisor, Cosette Reese, is going to offer some words, and you both come on up.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have an opportunity to introduce and help you get to know someone who's so dear to our Mobility Services Department. So as our grant specialist, Kathleen oversees our projects such as our Oak Ridge Diamond Express, our Rhody Express in Florence, and our South Lane services. And Kathleen doesn't just oversee them, but she's always looking for opportunities to improve. And so I know we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but expanding and increasing frequency on our Rhody Express is one of the ways that Kathleen shows that she cares and that she has some great ideas about how we can improve services and better serve our community. So although her plate was full, as Mr. Otten stated, although her plate was full, she did take on the stiff formula plan process, and she did an amazing job. So she brought the caring that she always brings with her. And not only did she manage the very compressed timeline and a very complex process, but she did it with style. So she made sure, she took good care to make sure that the process was not only compliant, but it was also meaningful and for all involved. So Kathleen is a pleasure to work with, and we're lucky to have her on our team. And when I think of Kathleen, I think she's an example of someone who leads from the heart. She's someone with great integrity and amazing dependability. So thank you, Kathleen. Would you like to say a word?
Thank you. I'd just like to say what an honor it's been to be nominated and selected for this award. It means a lot to me. The stiff process was a huge task. And as Jameson said, it was the first time LTD took it on and handled it in-house. While I very much appreciate the award, it was a team effort, and I wanted to acknowledge that team. Our colleagues at LCOG who have done this work in the past, especially Kate Wilson, who did a fantastic job guiding me through this process and helping me take it over. Our mobility services team, Cosette and John Allen, Dave Roth from the planning team at LTD, and countless others here at LTD who were so helpful in this planning process. And finally, the STIF Advisory Committee, which I facilitated. They were a fantastic group. Special thanks to Board Member Pete Knox and Gino Grimaldi for serving on that committee. We really valued your input. And so, like I said, it was a team effort. So thank you so much for honoring me, and please keep those other folks in mind as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank you. Thanks, Pete. Excellent. Thank you.
Just gonna go. Okay, thank you. In your packet, you'll find the monthly performance update here. Just a couple of highlights from that. First, ridership across fixed route and on MX is up about 1% compared to this time last year. So modest gain, yet a gain, it still is. Mobility services, this is what I was talking about with Kathleen and John's and Cosette's area. Diamond Express, which is our express service that runs up to Oak Ridge, that service is up 20% over last year. And I asked Kathleen if the numbers from the previous month were depressed for some reason, and they were. However, they were depressed for a reason, and the average was high. So it held at the 20% increase. That's good. That's good news there. That's a fixed route service. So the more riders, definitely the better in terms of how efficient that route becomes. Same thing with Roadie Express. You'll recall that last June, the service increased on that route, and we see a ridership increase at 56% on that service as well. So that is a case of if you build it, they will come with the frequency there. I want to highlight our complaints, talk about that a little bit. They're down about 6%. There was a question around how we manage complaints. We put a new process in recently where we're looking at, well, it's been in for some time, but we've been refining it. We're looking at what's real, what's the educational opportunity, what are training opportunities, what are marketing opportunities. And we found in December, we were getting quite a few complaints around early buses. And what we found was, we have a lot of relatively new drivers, and they hadn't been through the cycle when the students aren't in class. So they were running a bit ahead because they had less stops to make. So recognize that, and we're able to provide additional training and make the improvements in that area. But those are the things you'll find out as we move forward and really assess what's going on. Absenteeism. Absenteeism continues to be a challenge for various reasons. We're at 19% compared to I think it was 17.77 last year, so a slight tick up. Most of that, about 94% of that, is due to sickness and protected leaves. So we'll be, trying to keep an eye on that and address that. But that directly impacts service quality. It directly impacts how much it costs to deliver service, and also could be a symptom of why people are getting sick and why they're having to take that leave. So more to come on that. We have all eyes on that, and I'll continue to highlight that statistic to you all. And finally, the Ordinance 36 violations have come down about 15% over the last 12 months. Continues to be the common ordinance violation is criminal activity, which could be just kind of hanging out or doing things criminal activity. So with that, I'll stand for any questions on the operations report.
Any questions online? Michelle?
Not a question, actually. I just want to thank you. The transition from where we started with these reports to what we're looking at today, I think is really a major improvement. And I really appreciate the effort that's been made to give us this information in a format that's digestible.
Thank you for that. We will continue to be a bit of a work in progress as we continue to improve. I think the business intelligence area, along with the operations departments, have their eyes on things. So we'll be looking to continue to improve there. Thank you. All right, we'll move into the monthly department reports. And guess what? There's a PowerPoint involved. We'll go past the obligatory bus. Oh, there we go. So just wanted to highlight some areas around the monthly department reports. But before I get into the ones that are highlighted, there's one that's not, because it's really fresh. And I just want to congratulate the operations team, both fleet mechanics, our bus operators, all of our frontline road supervisors, our new COO, for the work that was done in the recent weather event. It's been noticed. I was out riding the service as well, not for as long as anybody else, but I was out there for a little bit. And, our operators really perform top notch in those conditions. Our fleet folks were able to get our weather socks on the vehicles as well. Everyone pulls together in those events. And I was just at a board meeting this morning, and my counterpart at Sub wanted me to thank the organization for the work that was done there. So hats off to the crew there. Now for the highlighted items on paper. So employee recognition program, we have great employees. We want to make sure that we're recognizing them for the great work they do, for the longevity in which they do it. We haven't had a consistent approach, at least since I've been here, in celebrating our employees. So we started in January to change some of that. We hold a monthly event in this room where we recognize our retirees and milestone anniversary achievements. They receive a lanyard and lapel pin and a link to an online catalog, or basically our school store for branded items. We're looking at intervals of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, et cetera, et cetera. And those gifts change as the longevity goes further out. But we're also looking at when we bring employees on board. We know that from the time we put out a solicitation to going through the recruitment process to their first day here, all of that leads to the first impression in how their career could kick off, no matter what position that they're in. So what we want to do is make sure they feel like they're a part of the team. When we have our bus operators come out of class, they get branded right away. We want to make sure that everyone has that opportunity to feel connected and understand how what they do really drives down into our mission, vision, and values. So we're going to be assessing our onboarding, but for now we've started by making sure that as people come on board, we get them some kind of branding so that they know that they're on this team. More to come on that. That was a low-hanging fruit effort. We wanted to get that done. But the other work in that will be reflected through our work plan, as you'll see here shortly. Bus operator apprenticeship program. We've talked about that for some time, and I want to thank John Arvlovsky. We call him John Argyle Socks because his name's hard to pronounce. He actually likes that. I want to thank John. I want to thank Bill, ATU, and ATU Resources, and others here on helping us to make key strides in this process. We're very interested in having a fleet maintenance apprenticeship program as well. It's a little challenging. This one was a little bit easier to get over the hump, but equally as important. And what we're really trying to do is increase awareness of careers in public transit with LTD. We'll talk about careers in public transit, but we really want to come into LTD. Okay, that involves designing training programs that lead to permanent hires and retention. So back to we're recruiting, but retention. And this will be expressed in the form of a mentorship program. Our operators need more support than what they currently receive because the conditions on the street have changed. So that shows that we're changing with the conditions and trying to meet needs. We're looking to recruit and hire from a diverse set of candidates. We're looking at sources that we may not have looked at previously in trying to communicate that this is a good job where you can raise families and own homes and put kids through college. We also want to offer additional educational opportunities to our workforce through partnerships with the local community college. That's an important connection and one that LCC has been very happy to make with us. So where are we now? We're in the process. Last month it was a dream. Now it's real. We're in the process now. We had to go ahead and get our program up and running. That graphic on the left there kind of talks about certain key steps. But on the right, it tells you where we are. So we've been recognized by BOLI for having an apprentice committee, and they approved our program standards. So they said, okay, you see, we have these pieces in place and you have a standard and you're good to go from that standpoint. In March, John Arvlovsky and I believe Bill with ATU are going to go up and have a meeting to present the final version of our training plan in person. And that's when we'll go for final approval. I can't stress the amount of work that's gone into this. John shared with me a 3-ring binder of procedures and policies that it put together to get this up and running. So this is it's a big first step, and we look forward to finally getting that final approval, because when we do, we'd be the first operator apprenticeship program in the state of Oregon, hoping to launch Q3 of 25. This will also give us additional resources that can be invested in training for our workforce needs. ATU has a lot of resources that we are currently able to tap into now. This will open up some other sources. And then finally, community college, as I said, and nonprofits that help promote employment in the community. This is part of our process for making sure that we're able to attract more workers, good workers, and keep them. Marketing has been busy on assessing brand development. And what the goal is to establish a distinct, consistent image and message that resonates with our community. And this isn't just the brand that you see up there. It's the branding of what people think about when they hear LTD. What's the top thought in the brain matter? They did a couple internal strategy sessions. You can see in the notes between September and January. They're going to develop some brand guidelines so we get a consistent look and feel. Part of that is the PowerPoint template you're seeing right now in front of you, a little cleaner, a little more crisp. So they'll be working on things like that. And then they'll be looking at a brand marketing campaign to highlight community impact. We feel that's important for the communities to understand that we're more than just ridership numbers. What are our true impacts? And they'll be focusing on that. We do a lot of surveying as well. So we'll be also assessing externally, how do external stakeholders view LTD? And we've started some of that work in other efforts as well. One of the pieces that marketing has adopted, and I think we talked about this just a little bit last meeting, was name, image, and likeness campaign. This is focused on increasing ridership and brand affinity with U of O students and student athletes. And I want to thank Eric and his team for coming up with this. It launched in January. On the left there, you'll see one of the campaigns. That's one of the athletes. Naya, is that, my glasses aren't strong enough to see that, Brad? Okay. Yeah, so that's one of the athletes, and we are helping to develop the messaging. They're posting, so they're reaching their audiences and serving as influencers to, again, generate that affinity with the services that we offer. Planning continues to be very busy. We're going to be launching our long-range mobility plan, which is our look at what we need to be for the out years. We're going to be working with University of Oregon Sustainable City Year program. This involves students in public relations and in transportation policy. They're going to be working on the outcomes that we've talked about, particularly at the state of the district, relating to health, housing, workforce, and education. And what are those metrics and how do we impact so we can communicate that way? We had a workshop in here over the summer, and we dialed in on how can we impact in those 4 areas. It was positively received. Now we're looking at putting those metrics together and starting to measure. We feel that the university students have a key role in it. So note that we're doing work with the University of Oregon, we're doing work with LCC, and we're doing a little bit of work with Oregon State University that we'll talk about at a future meeting as well. So there's an RFP that's out for transit consultants. This is related to the long-range mobility plan. We're working with the state on that as well. with contracting set for summertime. And then we'll recruit volunteers for the Community Advisory Committee in the spring. Anything that we do that relates to the outreach on the mobility plan will be based on our COCA strategy. So you'll recall we did a community outreach and communications assessment plan with the community, and we'll be basing that strategy on how we engage on that plan itself, the plan that you all adopted in the summertime. Thank you. And finally, fixed route bus stop removal. That seems like an odd thing to highlight. Why are we getting rid of our bus stops? Well, these are bus stops that we're not currently using. They're not active, and we still have some out in the community. So we're going to bring those in. We're going to look at how we can repurpose them. If they need to be refurbished, we'll look at refurbishing. But this was part of the COA, the Comprehensive Operations Analysis, one of the recommendations that basically said, clean up your stops. Is that accurate, Joe? Clean up your stops. All right, so we're in the process of doing that with a contract, as you can see, not to exceed $58,000. But we think this would be a benefit to our community, and we'll be good stewards and good neighbors. So with that, I will stand for any questions on these topics or any other topics in the department reports.
Any questions online? No? All right. Got to turn my microphone on. No questions for you, Michelle?
No questions, Pete.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jameson. That was very thorough and a lot of good stuff. So next we have the consent calendar. There are no items in the consent.
Yeah, two more items. Strategic plan update.
Oh.
I got a lot more talking to do.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Strategic plan update. All right, so all questions fair. If they're too hard, Amy Reichert is here. So our strategic plan, we updated that, or we created that back in 2021. Yes, October 21. And each year we kind of update it based on, you know, what's going on. We don't change the overall goals of it, but we look more at the tactics and the milestones for the year based on the priorities. So just wanted to update you on where we were on that and what we're up to. There's a handout in front of you that talks about the cadence of reporting results, and there's 3 different ways. One is annually, one is quarterly, and one is monthly. And these are across the 4 areas of community value, customer satisfaction, employee engagement, and financial health. So you'll see there that that's the cadence on how we plan to report those. We report ridership monthly, vehicle revenue hours. That's the number of hours our vehicles are actually in service. We report that monthly. But things like student passes and accidents per 100,000 miles, we'll handle that quarterly. And then, of course, community perception and key partnerships, customer impressions on safety and security that we handle through our ABBG survey that gets reported annually. So I wanted to share that with you. But as for the areas that we're going to be focusing on, we reduced them from 9 to 6. With the 6 being achieving sustainable fixed route service. So achieving sustainable fixed route service. And under that, there's a couple areas that sound real familiar to you. One is, you know, continuing to recruit operators. We put the same goal in this year as we did last year, 50 net. Well, no, 50, not 50 net, 50, yeah. We have a goal for fleet mechanics, and we have a goal to reduce turnover as well. The second area, work area, would be developing our internal strengths. We've talked about that as well. Again, turnover is reflected here because that crosses over the 2 areas. But our onboarding, we talked about that a little bit tonight, our onboarding process, making sure that we're giving the very best impression from the time we onboard people. And then also our training to our managers and supervisors. This is to understand how do we address the needs of our employees and really support them in the ways that they need to be supported. Third area we'll be focusing on is improving the system security and safety. One of the milestones is a mobile surveillance upgrade. So we're in the process of doing that now. The system we have it needs to be replaced. It's long past its useful life. So we're in the process of doing that now. And then also you'll recall that we do, when we do our customer perception, we do measure safety and security, real and perceived. So we'll be looking at developing marketing communications that focus on that focus on the safety and security of the service itself. We will also continue to gauge financial health. And I think that's super important, financial health. We're going to be looking to establishing a grant plan, of course, adopting a budget. And if you're at the budget meeting here recently, very good questions and real concerns about where we are, making sure we have good, solid numbers based on what's happening with our federal partners, and then streamlining our federal reporting. There's a lot of reporting that we do that is manual. We're looking to streamline that. Part of it is our National Transit Database information, so making sure we're able to do that in an effective and efficient manner. Fifth area we'll focus on is public engagement. Milestones under that include our annual stakeholder event, which was our State of the District last year. We'll be looking to work with key stakeholders to develop communications for key stakeholders that attend our events, making sure that they're aware of what's going on with the district and that we're keeping those contacts. And then finally, we're going to be exploring a youth engagement strategy. There are several transit organizations that have youth panels or have access to youth insight into decision making. We're going to be exploring how we can access young minds, fresh eyes on what we do as we develop the system. The sixth area and final area is development services. This is the area that John Allen works under in Cosette. So we're going to be looking at piloting a prioritization methodology for pilot programs. We've done several pilot programs over the years. We want to have a way to prioritize which ones we go after and which ones we don't or delay. The long-range mobility plan, the public outreach, we talked about that already. That'd be a key milestone under this. And finally, a evaluation of our ride source area. We do a comprehensive operations analysis of our fixed route service. Our ride source service is equally, if not more important, serves our more vulnerable customers, serves a lot of our rural areas, but also, quite frankly, is pretty expensive to operate, just south of $58 a trip. That's not special to LTD. That's what it is across the nation, some much higher, some a tad bit lower, but we want to make sure that we're being as effective and efficient with those services as possible. So we'll be doing an analysis there as well. So with that, I'll stand for any questions, and if you make them too hard, Amy will assist.
Any questions for Jameson on all of that? No? All right. One more thing, Jameson.
One more thing. So I want to introduce actually, one thing I skipped over. Delegated authority report is in your packet. Any questions on that? It's pretty thin this month. Okay. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to two new hires here at LTD. I want to introduce you to Mike Hirsch and Julie Lindsay. We spent quite some time trying to find a chief operating officer and a chief financial officer. Both of these folks provide 30+ years of experience in their industries. Mike was in several transit properties in California, including Muni in San Francisco, Valley Transit in Santa Clara, and most recently at AC Transit in Oakland. And Julie has been with several organizations in our area, including El Rapa, and I believe the City of Eugene Fire Services, and other places as well. So I wanted to introduce him to you all. If you want to say a few words, if I skipped over anything you want to highlight, feel free.
Thanks, CEO Otten. Mike Hirsch, my third week. I just want to let people know, particularly the board, that I snuck up here for 4 trips before I got the interview. And what an amazing, incredible transit district you have. I was just floored, blown away by the friendliness and professionalism of the operators, the maintenance folks. And I want to thank you all. I would say baptism by fire, but let's go with baptism by snow and ice last Thursday, because while I do bring 32 years of experience, and in the Air Force, I was stationed in Greenland. Last Thursday was my first time to get to experience public transit with snow and ice. The team was absolutely amazing, and I just want to say thank you and how proud I am to be part of this family, and really want to thank CEO Otten for welcoming me in the door, and just so proud of his visionary leadership, and I'm excited to get to contribute with the team.
And thank you. I met several of you at the budget committee last week. So coming from other governments around the city, I have met a lot of folks from LTD that I had crossed paths with before. So it's actually a real pleasure for me to actually start working. And this is the beginning of my 5th week. So Mike and I are going to hang out quite a bit. And I've been really impressed with the professionalism of the finance team and the other teams that I have come across. So thank you.
No, I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Jameson. Thank you, guys. Our new CFO and new COO. I haven't had a chance to meet you guys personally, but welcome aboard. And may your time here be fruitful. All right. As I was interrupting Jameson earlier, we were going to go next to consent calendar. Nothing is on it, so there was going to be no action there. Now we get to the fun part, which is the executive session, and I got a little script to read. Elaine Transit District Board of Directors will now hold 2 consecutive executive non-public sessions pursuant to ORS 192.660(2)D to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations, and ORS 192.660(2)E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. At the conclusion of this executive session, the session will adjourn and the board will return to regular session. Only representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room.
wage increase per step, an immediate 108% wage scale increase based on a market analysis, and additional across-the-board wage increases of 4.5% on July 1st, 3.5% the year following, and 3% the year following that. Benefits package remains essentially unchanged and aligns with administrative benefits, but with the acknowledgement and recognition that LTD is reviewing the retirement plan for all employees with potential adjustments by end of the fiscal year. It also restructures on-call compensation to an hourly from a flat rate. So I think all involved have been enthusiastic about being able to come to agreement on this contract. It comes before the board seeking final approval before ratification.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay, if no questions, then I will I'll be willing to entertain a motion.
I move to approve the collective bargaining agreement for facilities maintenance workers as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion to approve the facilities contract is on the table. Any discussion? In that case, I will do a roll call vote. Michelle Weber.
Yes.
Gino Grimaldi.
Yes.
Susan Cox.
Yes.
Heather Murphy. In IP Knox, I vote yes. Kelly?
Yes. For some reason, I can't get my video to work. You're just letting you know.
Okay. The decision is unanimous, and congratulations to the bargaining teams.
Thank you to members of the board.
One more topic. Considering the surplusing of rural property.
All right, good evening, board. Tonight, we're asking the board to surplus the Hunsaker property. And I thought maybe I'd just do a little review of the topic. Back in 2015, LTD purchased the undeveloped 8-acre parcel along River Road between Hunsaker Lane and Green Lane to pursue the design and construction of the new Santa Clara Station. The Santa Clara Station utilizes 3 acres, which went into revenue service in February 2021. Resulting in a 5-acre remnant commonly referred to as the Hunsaker property. The Hunsaker property meets the criteria to be declared surplus because it is no longer needed for public use. And so with that, I ask them, I can take questions or go to an action.
Oh, any questions? No, then I will entertain a motion.
I move to adopt resolution number 2025-02-19-05, declaring certain real property as surplus.
I'll second.
Excellent. We have a motion. It's been on the table. It's been moved and seconded to surplus the property at Hunsaker. Is there any discussion? All righty. I'll do a roll call vote. Michelle Weber.
Yes.
Gino Grimaldi.
Yes.
Susan Cox.
Yes.
Kelly Sutherland.
Yes.
Heather Murphy. IEP Knox also say yes. Okay, if that runs us to the end of the business meeting, and if we don't have anything more, I will adjourn us at 6:36 p.m. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for.